What up? It's Trevor Silver, a.k.a. Trevor's Life Lessons, and we're back with another Feature Friday.
And what's up? It's Aaliyah Arab-Smith, your co-host.
And we got Gary Beals today.
And before we get into it, I just wanted to mention and give a shout out to Shift Key Labs for their ongoing collaboration and support.
Yeah, shout out Shift Key Labs, shout out R&B Kitchen, and shout out Legends Barbershop for always keeping me fresh.
All right, so let's get into it. We got Gary Beals. First off, thank you for coming. It's a pleasure having you.
Yes, I'm happy to be here with you guys. Chat it up.
Definitely, and we're happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks to finally meet you in person.
Oh, yes.
You're the first, back when I could remember, you're the first famous person from Community that I can know of.
Okay.
I remember like the Canadian Idol journey and
Yes.
stuff like that. So like maybe we can just start off with where you're from and tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Yeah, I'm from Cherry Brook, a small community in the Preston area. And gosh, my upbringing, born and raised in Cherry Brook. And yeah, I mean, I was a kid who loved being outside. I loved nature and music. Grew up singing in the church. And yeah, that's kind of a little nutshell.
Yeah. That's dope. So you went to the church in Cherry Brook?
Yeah, Cherry Brook United Baptist Church is where I grew up, with the church I went to, yeah.
And was there any other folks in your family that were into singing, or was it like you were the first?
Yeah, but no, yeah. I mean, my mom sings, but she don't sing. Yeah, no, I'm really the only singer in my family. But I mean, they played a lot of my parents played like a lot of soul music in the house. My brothers played a lot of R&B, and then in church, singing gospel. So I've always been surrounded around music. Yeah, so I guess and I mean, I say it's a gift from God. So yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Oh, so you say it's a gift. When did you know that you had this gift?
Yeah.
I think I was maybe, maybe 7, 8, 9-ish, I guess, from singing in the church and then just getting the reaction from the audience. And then, realizing that, people are touched by my voice. So I think it was, at a pretty young age.
So what was it like realizing that the people were touched? How did you feel, or how did you witness that?
Oh, because people would, sometimes when I would sing in church, people would cry, and so I didn't really understand that. But I mean, as I got older, it was people are connecting, they're feeling an emotion. So when people cry, I mean, obviously you're touching something. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of when I realized it.
And that's like touching on certain songs that you were singing. That was like touching their heart and whatnot.
Definitely. So yeah.
And then so when did you get into creating your own sound or creating your own music?
I would write gospel songs when I was younger. There was a group of friends who we all liked to sing. We were in the choir together. And so I remember maybe I was 13. That's when I probably started writing gospel songs. And then I had this opportunity to go into the studio over Halifax. I can't even remember the studio. So then I wrote about 3 songs, got my friends to do some backgrounds on it. 2 of my friends did lead on 2 of the songs. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
Wow, that's dope. And do you know who gave you that opportunity or how that came about?
I have absolutely no idea how that came about. I don't even know who the person was. Yeah, I don't even know.
Was it a person that believed in you or seen something in you, or was it just more so?
Yeah, I don't.
You solo went over there?
Say it again.
Did just one person take you there, or was it more
it was this guy? But I don't know how I got connected with him or introduced to him. Yeah, it's my memory's gone. There's literally parts of my childhood, the past that I don't even remember.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I mean,
yeah,
the same for me. I got friends and family that bring up old stories that I'm I forgot all about that,
Yeah.
but now I can remember it.
Yeah, people, I mean, when people bring up the stories and they tell me, it's just oh, okay, yeah. But there's a lot of my childhood that I don't remember. It's a block or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's normal though. I feel like.
Is it?
Yeah, I feel like it's normal. I forget a lot, and I'm only 21. So yeah, that memory's starting to go. I don't know if it's early onset dementia, but
Well, yeah,
but something going on
you're
with
going
that.
to school to be a doctor, so you'll learn what's up with you.
Yeah, I'm learning the new stuff. I'm forgetting the old stuff because of all the content and stuff. But my question is actually about your childhood again, so I'm sorry about that. But
it's all good.
It's going to be I think you mentioned at the age of 13 that you began writing, and that's when you started making your own songs. So maybe just speaking to the experience of of like just starting to write and like how that connects to how you write now and what you've learned.
Yeah, when I was writing back in the day, I remember writing in my parents' room. I would always, like, when they weren't in the room, I would watch TV in the room, write in the room, watch like award shows. And I mean, there was no music that I was writing to. It was more so like just thinking of the melodies in my head, coming up with those melodies, and then the lyrics. And then I think that's when I was introduced to the gentleman that I was talking about. And then he laid down the music for it, and so it was much easier for me to then craft the song.
Okay, nice.
So the difference between a similar process, like from how I write now to how I started off writing. I get in the room with producers. They generally create the music from like inspiration that I'll provide to them or references that I'll give to them, and then we just go at it like, you know, what kind of topics do I want to talk about. So that's sometimes how I approach it, or it'll just be like a freestyle sort of thing. So they'll play a beat and then I'll just freestyle. So whatever I'm feeling is generally just, well, that's just what comes out.
Interesting. So like what are some of like the experiences that inspire what you write and the topics that you decide to
Just life in general, and then just hearing people's stories. Traveling for me has been like great for inspiration for me when it comes to like writing. A lot of songs that came out of my third album, Bleed My Truth, was inspired by just traveling, like South Africa, and when I went to Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii was really what inspired that album. It was my first like solo trip to my first time in Hawaii, and it was my first solo trip ever. And I was kind of in this transitional period in my life, and I just needed to get in an unfamiliar space. And then so I decided to go to Hawaii and just to get to know me, like really get to know me, the things I love about myself, the things I didn't love about myself, the things that I was afraid to talk about. And then I came back, and then I was just so inspired to like just write, and do original music. And so I would say definitely travel has been a big inspiration when it comes to writing.
Love it. And how would you describe your music? Because it seems like you touch a bunch of different points.
Oh, how would I describe my music? It's like inspirational R&B. It's very soulful. It's very introspective, but like it's fun at the same time. Yeah, it's just I don't even know how to describe it really. It's just it's soulful R&B. Yeah.
You touch on like self-discovery and introspection. I'm wondering, like, so when you create the one that you went, what's the album called that when you were in
Bleed My
Hawaii?
Truth.
Bleed by Truth?
Bleed My Truth.
Bleed Your Truth. So some of the themes and like some of the things that because you also talked about like facing your fears.
Yeah.
So do you find like when it comes to traveling and finding yourself more so, it's easier to like create and produce music that like touches your soul?
Yeah, I mean, because I guess when you're traveling, like you're just in these unfamiliar spaces, and then you get to meet people from different parts of the world that, you know, you never had a chance to connect with. Well, I grew up in a small community, Cherry Brook, and I was just familiar with that space. Even before, like, I went to Acadia University or, like, moved to Toronto. Like, I didn't want to do those things because I was so comfortable in my space that I was in where I grew up. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just a chance for me to kind of just broaden my perspective about life. And, yeah.
It's like finding that discomfort allows you to create.
Yeah, like just get out of that comfort zone and tap into, because we're so influenced by, our upbringing and different things that we see on TV and all that stuff. So it's kind of, for me, because also when I did Idol, like, kind of when I would come home, like when you go places, like people know you, and it's just like I wanted to be in a space where no one knew me.
Yeah. Because it takes you outside of that box that you might be feeling like you're confined to.
Yeah, because people have a certain perception, and then when people have a certain perception, it kind of trickled in on me, where I'm like trying to meet up to people's expectation, and so I think that was one of the reasons why I just love to travel, because I it was so liberating and freeing for me.
I resonate with that a lot because like I'm a fashion designer, and I find when you were saying about traveling, that's where my creative juices fly because I'm there meeting new people, people that don't know me. I'm not confined to the box, like to what the other people's expectations are of me.
That's right.
I'm not confined to like the standards of our city and whatnot. You know, you're in these bigger cities. You're kind of like have bigger expectations because you're like, man, like look at these designers or look at these artists. You know what I mean? How do I compete with them? And I find that's how I kind of lock in when it comes to competition. I always look at it as like it's fun competition or friendly competition where I'm not trying to compete or beat someone else. It's more so I'm using you as fuel to become better. And same probably for you, where it's like if I'm looking up to a designer and I'm seeing their fabrics, I'm seeing how they design, it's like, how can I do this or how can I become better? And not to be like I want to be like them, but more so how do I be better me?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you were touching on is like the introspection and the you evolving as a musician and how you create and then coming back to creating. I'm thinking about when you said original music.
Yeah.
And I think originality is what makes us shine as fashion designers, as musicians, and as artists in general. Because without originality, like, you know, what are we? Just copycats, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's what allows you to shine, what allows me to shine, and what will allow anyone else out there in the world to shine.
Yeah, because you're inspired. You get inspired by seeing people. Like even they may not be a musician, like you said. You're a designer. So even just seeing you work your craft and doing it in such an authentic way, that inspires me to tap into myself and be like, oh my goodness, he's doing it so well. Like, let me figure out what I need to do or like dive deeper into my passion. So I'm just inspired by, you know, when I see people just doing what they absolutely love to do and doing it unapologetically and just tapping into it in a very genuine and authentic way. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Definitely. And I agree on that too. I feel like from like the modeling perspective, because like you got like the fashion designer, obviously an artist, but yeah, with modeling and traveling and seeing, let's say, different models from different areas and kind of building a passion from them, not really comparing yourself to them, but using them, like you said, as fuel. It's definitely very important. You did mention idol. So I feel like you mentioned like that difference of like people knowing you and you wanted to be kind of more inclusive in your own space. But what was that experience like, that breakthrough in Canadian Idol? Was it 2009?
Yeah, no, actually it was in 2003.
Okay.
So 2003, 21 years ago.
Yeah, that's tough.
Before your time, in the middle of my time.
I was just born.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Yeah.
I remember I was a kid like in elementary or junior high, and I was just like, this is crazy because like my family because I'm from North Preston, black community, and black family, and then my white community, they were like, or white family, they were like, oh, do you know Gary Beals? I'm like, no, I don't know him, but he's from like the community. So it was like you were like super famous from here, and it's just like
Still
everybody
are.
was rooting for you, not just the black community, you know. Everybody that's from here was like rooting for you. So it was
and I really felt that. I mean, even still to this day, like 20 years later, even sometimes when I talk about it, like I get emotional because the support has been absolutely amazing, and this is what like I needed to like even propel myself. And so I'm big on like supporting people as much as I can because sometimes that allows people to shine and just grow, and it's very important. So my experience being on Canadian Idol, I mean, parts of it is like my childhood. I can't really remember, but I just know it was an amazing time, and just it was the first season of Canadian Idol. So American Idol had just finished their like first season, so it was like, and there was no really reality shows happening at that time. I think it was really the first reality show. And as a singer, like just watching American Idol, I used to get so excited, grab the remote, and like they're singing, I would just sing in front of the TV. And then when I found out like Canadian Idol was coming here, I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna audition. And then, a group of my friends, we went out to, it was at the Rebecca Cohen outside, and we just stayed out there all night, and then we auditioned. I made it to the next round. I think it was like maybe 3 days later. No, the next round, then I had to audition for like producers, and then the next round was with the celebrity judges like 2 days later. Then, I got a chance to go to Toronto, and then just trickled down into number 2.
So leading into the Canadian Idol, was there things or steps that you were taking to become like the big star? Because like I don't know of your journey until like
Right.
that's when we were finding out about it.
Right.
But like maybe could you talk about the steps that you were taking that elevated you to get to that opportunity?
Yeah, and it wasn't even, I don't even know, it was almost like my steps were sort of ordered, even as I look at like the trajectory of my life. It's like, oh my goodness, like sometimes when I would want things to happen, they didn't happen. But like now as I look back over my life, I'm just like, I'm so grateful for it, because it's just like that really took me into the next phase, to the next phase. And I think if things would have happened before, it would have happened prematurely, like I wasn't ready for it. So like, before Idol happened, I mean, I was just kind of just singing in the church as a young child. And then as a teenager, I was in a group called Light of Day, a gospel group. And we were singing at various churches in the province of Nova Scotia. We actually sang at the ECMAs one year. And then I had the opportunity to go to Acadia University. At first, I didn't want to go. Because again, I was really comfortable in my community. So then getting to go to Acadia University, I was part of the gospel choir there. And then just meeting other Black people like from like outside of North America, because at that time it was like, I didn't even know there was Black people outside of North America. Like, what do you mean, really? So that was like a big eye-opener for me. And then, like I said, I was part of the gospel choir there. So that just kind of set me up. And then, again, I've always been passionate about music, from church, from just hearing music in the household. And it just kind of prepared me for Idol. And then, yeah, I was, like I said, I was just excited that Idol was coming this way.
That's so dope.
And then to be able to, like, represent like Scotia, because that's what I kind of felt like I was doing, like representing
we're
Scotia.
100%
Yeah.
repping.
Yeah, and I was like so, I was so proud. And I know like my parents were like super proud of me too, even like to this day, like they're so proud of me. And so like, I'm just so grateful for that. Like I said, the support, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and speaking of support, I love that you mentioned that. And I know we're getting emotional. You got me getting emotional right now because, yeah, support from your family, from your friends. Maybe just getting into like the importance that means to you and how that's impacted you, perhaps giving back and helping the other.
Get this man some tissue.
I know, all my heart, man. I'm gonna cry.
Oh,
Gary got me emotional over
ask
here.
the question again.
Yeah. Well, wait, do you want the
Oh
tissue?
no,
You
I think I'm good.
No, this is what we need. Future Friday. But
It's
yeah,
real, raw, uncut.
100%.
This the real emotion that we need to see on here.
Yeah, just speaking like to the support and what that means to you. Obviously, it means a lot to you, and I feel like it probably trickles into how you approach life in general and giving back to others, and just speaking to what that means.
Oh
to you.
gosh, yeah. I mean, I guess the importance of support. I mean, where do I start? What do I even say? How do I articulate it? I don't even know if I can articulate it. It's just a feeling, and I mean, I can just say I'm just grateful for that support, because it really, it really carries me. Like, it inspires me. And I mean, I just know that, I guess there's purpose in that. I don't even know I have no idea how to articulate it. Yeah.
I know you were touched on gratitude, and I find like even for me, like gratitude to me, if there's no magic in the world, I feel like gratitude is what allows me to be more grateful for things. It's like a practice where when you're grateful, you find more things to be grateful.
Exactly.
And you attract more things to be grateful for. So I think you're very like a symbol of gratitude based on you saying about the support that you've received and how that pushes you and guides you. And I feel like same for me, and I'm sure same for you, is like when you find those people that support you, that's what them believing in you, it gives you the permission and it gives you the push that you might need. And then for you were talking about believing in others. It's important for us to like find people that are chasing their dreams, doing what they love, because that's what you talked about, and instilling that you believe in them, or instilling in the permission, or just letting them know you believe in them, letting them know like they can do it, and give them
words of encouragement, which
words
is very important. Like, that's what I try to do, especially when I see people and they're just shining and they're like loving what they do. I just love to just give them their flowers. And I think that's very important, because it motivates, I can say it motivates me to continue on doing what I'm doing. Like when people say, I'm so proud of you, or I'm supporting you, or just giving me encouraging words, that like sets me up for the next phase of my life. And it just encourages me to keep going on, because there's times when it's just like I want to throw in the towel, like I don't want to do this anymore. But you know, sometimes it's those little moments, those times that's just like, oh my goodness, I so needed that.
That extra
Thank
push.
you. Yeah, like
100%.
thank you so much.
So maybe like let's shout out or touch on some of the people that did that for you.
Oh gosh, well, my father, you know, he would remind me from time to time. I mean, gosh, wow.
Take your time, brother. No rush.
Yeah, you're good.
Maybe we could come back to that one.
That
'cause I
speaks
don't
to
know
the
why
impact.
I'm so emotional, but yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Gratitude.
gratitude.
Yeah.
This just goes to show how important it is for someone to believe in you and how impactful it can be on someone's journey. And for you, whoever believes in you, listen to them and allow that to propel you, and also find people that you can push and believe in as well.
100%. And like relating to like my experience as well with that, I feel like there's been times, and I believe a lot of people can relate, where you sometimes you believe so much in yourself and then you want to throw the towel, and sometimes you don't believe in yourself. So being that person for others and reflecting on those people that were there for you is important. So
Because even on my
You got
journey,
me
brother, like I've been in them positions where it's like you're down and out, you're throwing the towel. Like trust me, like I was thinking about this a couple days ago, and then like you get that solitude, that time to yourself, and then you recharge, or someone gives you like that message comes in, or that opportunity comes in, and you're just like, oh, this is what I needed to keep going, because I was just about to say, man, forget this.
Yeah. And sometimes
I think it's articulating it for me. Maybe this is the first time I've spoken in that way, so maybe that's why I'm so emotional. Because I mean, these are kind of inner thoughts, or maybe I'm not even conscious of it, but actually having the conversation and realizing it's just like it's just opened up like so much. So I mean, thank you guys too.
Thank
you, because you got me emotional,
I know,
and I'm thinking about the people that inspired me, the people that believed in me, and that push. So it's like tapping into that energy, I think, and for you to like be able to relieve that energy and like, you know what I mean, cry, let it out, because I feel like that's what gives us the power to keep moving forward. It's like sometimes we're like, oh, we're men and we shouldn't cry, but it's like in order for us to let out our feelings, in order for us to, it makes us lighter. You know? Do you feel like, you know what I mean? You
Oh
feel
my
a little
goodness,
bit lighter?
I mean, I always say my superpower is my vulnerability. And so me just being vulnerable, but even over the years not being vulnerable, but like that's a part of like my album, Bleed My Truth. That's why that's probably my favorite and most special album, because it really propelled me to a different level where it's just like, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be yourself. And and so it feels light. I feel good. Like tears of joy, tears of healing, tears of just growth, like
Tears of gratitude.
Tears of gratitude. So I mean, I cry all the time, and I encourage people. Maybe you need to cry.
Let it go, let it go. Like like sometimes I be thinking I'm a rock, but like when you let it out, it's good. Like it's because it makes you lighter. It allows you to find those breakthroughs. Get to know yourself more, understand like, hey, I don't got to hold on to all that pain, like, you know?
And no one knows your journey as much as you know your own journey. Like no one knows your inner thoughts. No one knows your, that innermost, just no one knows that.
Yeah, because even some people that are maybe watching this is like, the cry might be the next level for you. Yeah. Like the cry must be might be the thing that's holding you back for you. Because if you let it out, then you might, it might be a step to the next level, you know?
Or sometimes it's like, sometimes I go like, if I'm crying, I'm like, wait, why am I crying? So it'll take me deeper into like parts of like that I was not conscious about. And it's just like, oh, that's why. And then you sort of like massage, or you kind of just, you tap into those areas that you never tapped into before. And it's just like that helps you grow as well and mature as an individual.
Vulnerability and self-reflection. I feel like it's really important, because even for like, myself, those moments when I cry, I used to sometimes like try to hide it, you know what I mean? But then I started crying and I'm like, I feel good. Which a lot of people, you don't immediately think that that's going to happen. Obviously my eyes get puffy and I get the headache, but I feel good. Like weight is lifted off your shoulders, and I feel like it really propels your journey. Like you were saying, like it really helps you get to that next step of where you want to be. Sometimes you just got to let a little cry out. So I hope you guys do during this as you reflect.
Definitely gotta cry. Like even
100%.
I don't cry much at all ever, but there was a recent time one of my friends, he passed away, and I got the call on my way to work. And usually I think I'm a rock. But then when I got the call and like it was my dad, I couldn't even say goodbye. Like I had to pull over and like let my cry out on my way to work. Then I was like, boom, got back to work. And it, with the cry allowed me to, and it was just a half cry because I still had to go cry later. But it was like a thing that like made me, okay, you got to let it out.
Yeah,
if you don't let it out, it's gonna be, it's gonna come out in other ways that might not be
definitely,
healthy. And crying is healthy.
Yeah.
Even if you might be like shy to cry around people, cry by yourself, like, and let that feeling out, because like you were saying, the emotion is what could get you to the next level. And then maybe we could dive into like emotion when it comes to music and creation.
I mean, I tap into, even like my performances is based on how I feel. I'm such like a feel person. So, I mean, I love performing with like full band, or even if it's just like acoustic type of vibe. But I'm just based on like emotion, how I'm feeling, and you'll get a different feeling from the audience. So like, my performances are kind of spontaneous in a sense. But yeah, I mean, emotion has been, major when it comes to like just crafting my albums, just tapping into different experiences, different feelings, and just having like a plethora of themes that are on the albums, and different emotions that I want people to feel when they're listening to the album. So I'll sit down before I create the album to say, this is how I want people to feel. Like, I want them to be happy. I want them to think deeper, be introspective. Like, there's so many different emotions, so it helps with creating the album.
So you touched
and
on
the
like
music.
You touched on like the audience and the other artists that are.
Oh, thank you. I think I'm done crying now.
Let's try to make them cry again.
Maybe.
So you touched on like the emotion that you maybe want to evoke in the audience and stuff like that. I'm thinking like back when Gary was young, is it similar, like being on stage, on any stage, based on the experiences that you had? Is the audience similar in terms of like you're big time celebrity singer now, and versus you when you were younger and you were singing to like the church? Is it learning the audience the same, and is part of the like the journey or the experience? Has it you gotten better? Obviously, you got better at it, but it was like, was it a thing that spoke to you? Like,
maybe ask the question again.
I'm trying to figure out how to ask or how to articulate it the best way, but it's like the from the young Gary to the audience to the Gary now to the audience. Like, what did you have to learn, and what's it like experiencing the audience? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure if there was a difference from the young Gary to maybe I'm just more matured. But it's me showing up as myself, and I think me bringing a certain energy to the stage. And then when I see the energy kind of almost mirrored back, it just, I mean, I don't want to get off the stage sometimes. It's just like, I just want to continue to sing. And then, just even watching different people's emotions. Like, if I'm singing a song that, I don't know, but if I'm singing a song and it maybe evokes a certain emotion.
The other thing, like from what you were saying, is like, because I find some artists like it's like a peripheral view of the audience. Because like I never did I'm not a singer, or nothing,
right?
But like it seems like sometimes they don't even look at the crowd, but like they're seeing them peripherally. And do you find like you get a certain energy from the whole crowd? Like how does that feel?
You know what I get, but sometimes it's that feeling of not remembering. Like there's a lot of times like I'll perform and I won't remember the performance. Oh, wow. But I like that feeling because I feel like it's an out-of-body experience for me and I'm not in it. It's kind of like I'm being used as a vessel to just perform. And it's like, it's not Gary, but it's Gary. And so those are the performances that I really like. But when I'm conscious about certain performances, it's seeing the joy, it's seeing the emotion, it's seeing like the eyes, like, because eyes can speak a lot. So when I look into the audience and then I connect eye contact, I think it's, it's almost like seeing through someone's soul. Yeah. So you can just feel it and you can see it. And it just, like it's just looking at you guys right now. It's just like, it feels intense. It feels like, it's just a beautiful moment. So I just don't know how to articulate that.
The eyes are the window of the soul.
Would it be like what you're giving to the audience is like they're giving it back to the eyes, and then it keeps you to propel and keep going, and that's why you don't want to get off the stage because you know what you're giving is so good, and they're receiving it. So it's like, I'm not leaving. You want another encore?
Yeah.
And that's how some of the podcasts are for us too, because we're like, we'll go for so long, and it's like, we got time constraints. People got work and stuff to do after this meeting, you know?
Yeah. So it's that feeling, right? Yeah.
So you go with the energy basically of the crowd that like propels the music and your performance and your presence on the stage.
And what I do, like, I'm just I try to be in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's important for me to be in the moment because being in the moment allows me to just be out of my head too.
Yeah.
Like just whatever I'm feeling at that time. And
do you think about it as in like a flow state? Like it because I find like when I'm in the flow state, it's like when I was in art class when I was younger. It's like that hour, it goes by in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like so for you, when you're performing, it's like 5 minutes, and then you're looking back like, what even happened? That out of body.
Like I said, I can't.
So-
A lot of performances I cannot remember, and sometimes I'm like, I want to remember it, but it's just like no, because there's performances I remember, and it's just like, oh Lord, get me off the stage. I don't even want to be on here, and I don't like that feeling. So I think I'd rather not remember because again, it just puts me in a state of flow. Like
flow state.
What about maybe like the difference between, let's say, performing and singing at the church and then going to a scale of doing Canadian Idol and then performing in big crowds? What was it like for you?
I
transition?
guess because in church I'm singing about God, and so there was like that difference that I realized trying to feel that same emotion or get the same reaction. And even that was kind of difficult because there was like transitional periods where it was just like, okay, I need to get comfortable with it. But it was weird. But then now it's just like I want people to have that church kind of feeling when I'm singing. I don't sing gospel anymore, but it's just like I want people to have that same experience. And then when I just had my release party for my 4th album, The Melody Within, in Toronto, like just hearing the comments after how people, it was like an experience. And that's, for me, I just like to create experiences for people, like take people out of their everyday routine of doing things and just put them in a space where it's just like, and they feel a certain way. So, yeah.
So maybe we'll dive into like tell me about him. This would be for like the audience or someone that's thinking about doing singing or that's pursuing it. Is like, tell me about an experience that may have been the hard time where you're like, I want to give up, and then how it transitioned into like, keep going.
I remember like I was asked to do the national anthem here in Halifax at it was the Metro Center. What is it, Scotia Bank Theater?
Yeah, they changed. It's still Metro,
okay, so I call it the Metro Center. And I was singing the national anthem, and one of the, I think maybe the 3rd or 4th line, my voice just went out. Like, and then I was like, I looked over to the person who asked me to perform, and then I was just like, I started over again, and my voice went out again. And so I had to finish the song, but I remember after that me saying, I'm never gonna sing again, never gonna sing again. So that was a time where it was just like, I wanted to give up, never wanted to do music again, but thank God I never.
This was pre-Canadian Idol?
I was maybe like 14, 15, like I was young, super young.
So that just goes to show, like, when you're early on, there might be these little things that could stop your whole journey.
Yeah.
And people could maybe ridicule you, or you could be like, oh, that boy can't sing, or stuff like that. But then you persevere, you push through it, and then, hey, look at you now. You know what I mean? From that one thing, because a lot of people's journeys have those one things that could have stopped them.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like Seti the barber, that's one of my barbers, and he said the other day, is like, the people that win are the people that keep going.
Yeah.
Like you can't win if you don't keep going, and you have to lose on the journey of winning.
Yeah. And even when I was doing Idol, I remember, there was no social media at that time.
Facebook wasn't even there?
No,
So
there was no Facebook. It was just websites.
No, that's pure talent though. You know what I mean? Like no social media.
Yeah, there was like, just websites. So I remember going to because they had a Canadian Idol website, and that's when people would leave their comments, and the comments weren't always the greatest, but it really made me believe in myself even more. Reading the comments, it was kind of hard and difficult, but like after a while, it's just like, no, you know what? I'm going to go there and I'm going to kill it. I'm going to do my thing. Yeah. So it made me a stronger person, and it just made me like dive deeper into my craft and to my passion. So yeah, I'm grateful for those times, and I'm grateful for the naysayers, and I don't really take on energy from other like negative energy and stuff. I'm just like, you stay over here and I'll stay over where I'm at.
You can use that as fuel for the fire, because it's like, you don't believe in me, but I got 95 people that do believe in me. I'm not gonna obviously take what you're saying as professional advice, because clearly, like, a lot of haters, and this is for like anyone who did that's thinking about hating or that has been a hater. What you do, it doesn't work. It only works on the people that are like you, that do the same thing as you do. Like, the people that are lovers and the people that instill belief in others, they're the ones that win, and they're the ones that allow other people to win. Yep. Y'all just taking up space, and it don't do nothing, and it actually makes us better. So please, if you want to hate, keep hating.
And it keeps you where you're at.
You need
to, instead of hating, like, try to, support people and learn from them too, because sometimes hating can come from someone's at a position that you aspire to be in.
That's
and it's
true.
like, instead of taking that as a moment to hate, take that as a moment to go have a conversation with them and ask them how they got to where they're at. And use that as motivation.
And
or be inspired by that.
100%.
Yeah, like,
because you'll have some people in your life, like I'm with my brothers, I'm like a challenger, where like I'll be like, I bet you can't do it, or like, if you know what I mean. It's not in a hate. Sometimes it might come across as hate, but it's more so as a challenge to be like, I bet you can't do that. You know what I mean? And I feel like as men, we need to challenge each other versus like accepting like their mediocrity, It's like, no, you can do better, and that's why you're gonna do better, and you're my brother, so I'm gonna push you.
I'm same way, and I like to like challenge my friends and like even dive deeper like into conversations or like certain behaviors, like, well, why is it like that you're doing this, or why did you choose that decision? So I think that's important too, because it's just like it makes you dive deeper into yourself and helps you like move along.
And I think as a good friend, it goes back to like the steel sharpens steel. To where if you're not making your friends become better, they're not making you become better, and you're just gonna accept each other's mediocrity. And I find like we have to, as individuals, as we become better. And I believe that as we become better, so does our circumstances. So anybody that's complaining and saying like they don't like this, they don't like that, is like, do something about it. If you do what's easy, life is gonna be hard, and if you do what's hard, life will become easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Les Brown. That's a quote from Les Brown.
All right now.
Got
Les Brown, hey.
No, definitely. And challenging your friends. I feel like that's a big thing as well with friendships, is being able to tell them when something is good and when you need to get your shit together.
Yeah.
So have you had any people in your life, or friends, guys, females, that like it was like a friendly competition where you guys challenge each other to continue to get better within music?
Within music, no, I don't think. No.
That's good. Is there anyone that you, or maybe you could talk about the people that you looked up to on your journey?
Oh gosh, who did I really look up to on my journey? I often like say, well, in terms of singers, like I mean, Whitney Houston was, Whitney Houston. I remember just every time I would watch Whitney Houston on award shows, like I was always just captivated. It's almost like she just put me in a trance. And so she always inspired me as a vocalist. And then Michael Jackson, I remember just watching Michael Jackson and his shows and how much impact he had on his audiences, and, seeing them cry and, drop out. That's actually how I got this scar on my eyebrow. Yeah, when I was younger, I think maybe 9, I was trying to imitate Michael Jackson, and my friend was flickering off the lights because, that's what would happen on Michael Jackson shows. So I went down and I did the splits, and then I banged my head right on the corner of the bookshelf. No. Yeah, and so I have 4 stitches there. So
what?
Michael Jackson,
crazy though.
You did that.
Yeah. So
that's passion though.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
Did you hit the split though?
Yeah, I did.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, wow. And then the rest I can't remember. Maybe that's why I can't remember.
Michael Jackson, you did it.
But I mean, it was, Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. They were like, Michael Jackson as an entertainer for me, and then Whitney Houston as a vocalist. Like, those were my inspirations. And then also like Oprah Winfrey was, I used to always watch Oprah, and just seeing this Black person like on an international level, and how she would just have conversations and just talk to everyday people. And I mean, I was always inspired by that because she would go deeper. Yeah. And so I love that. And I think also For years I had like struggled with my sexuality, and so I wasn't able to go deep, and I was very surface for years. I didn't even like my friendships weren't even like they didn't really feel like fulfilling. And then it wasn't until like I came into myself and started embracing me. For me, that's one of my songs, Be For Me. But until I started embracing me, then it deepened my relationship with myself. It deepened my relationship with my friends. And I see such a difference. Like, and I'm able to go deeper and challenge. That's why I'm able to now challenge my friends. And they're able to challenge me. Yeah.
Maybe we can dive in deeper on that if you would like.
Yeah.
Touch on the sexuality.
Yeah.
And like,
Maybe coming to, I would say coming to terms with that and embracing your full identity. Because I feel like if someone doesn't come to true terms with accepting who they are as a person, when you enter a space, you're not bringing your full self, right? So
like
maybe
that.
just expanding on.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, I grew up in a small Black community in the church. Like, I mean, you're not supposed to be gay. So I struggled with that for so many years. And then having to do Idol and having this like perception of, oh, like, Gary needs to be this. And then even like not even being conscious of the songs that I was releasing. I was thinking about girls. I didn't even like girls, like, you know, but I really wasn't even conscious about that. It was just like, it was like I was playing a role. And then it wasn't until like I came to terms with myself. And that's why my trip to Hawaii was it was such a special trip, because that's when I was like, this is who I am, and I'm going to embrace who I am no matter what anybody says. You can have your beliefs. It doesn't really matter. And so just standing true to who I am, it makes me be more intentional in what I decide to take on. It makes me more conscious of the music that I'm releasing. And and I love quotes. So there's this quote that says, "Be who you needed when you were younger." And so when I was younger, I needed to see representation as of a Black gay person, because I didn't see it. Only the negative perceptions of what gay people are. And so I just want to be able to walk in my truth and, you know, just be that. And even though maybe you may not struggle with your sexuality or whatever the case may be, just me standing in the truth of who I am, it could be an inspiration to somebody else.
100%. What you were saying about you discovering and being your true self, I know from the conversation that we're having that it allowed you to go to the next level. And you know what I mean? When you're authentically true to yourself, you come into the room more.
Yeah,
more
and
so.
it opens doors for you. Like, and I'm not. I said this is my season of just saying yes to things that make sense. If it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't align with, you know, what I believe in, then, you know, I'm not saying yes. But now I can just come into the room and then also not even focus on my sexuality too, because there were times when it's just like if I was in a house, it was like the whole house was just me focusing on my sexuality, but not realizing that there's other rooms, there's other parts of myself beyond my sexuality, even beyond even just being Black. So now I'm just like, sometimes having the conversations about just being Black or being gay, like I kind of shy away from, because I'm just like, I just want to be. I just want to just be, exist.
Because when you put too much focus on something, it like hyper focuses it, and then your mind might be hyper focused on it, and then it's like, there's other things to focus on, you know what I mean? And the holistic view. But then when we think about like community or like Black community, is like you were saying, is like we're not supposed to be like that and whatnot. But it's like being free and being yourself is what allows you to be whoever you want to be. And like for me, when I was younger coming up, it was like I thought I was this street guy. I thought this is who I was supposed to be. I thought this was who we were. Like on TV, this is how we're represented. This is how we're supposed to be portrayed. So then it's like coming up, and when I realized like, I don't have to choose to be a street guy. I can choose to be a square, even though like my mind, it was hard for me to transition to university and school, because like, you're like, I'm not this guy, this ain't who I am. But then you realize like, I am who I create myself to be. I am who I decide to be. So it's like, we can be who we want to be. And not to get locked up in the, oh, I'm gay, I'm straight, or oh, I'm street, I'm real, I'm square. It's like, because there's nothing wrong with being any of those. It's who we are and who we decide to create ourselves to be, and who we're drawn to be. And I feel like on the journey, it's like, create who you want to be. Don't create who you think community wants you to be, or what the TV or whoever wants you to be, or even what your parents want you to be. Like, be you for you, because there's no one else that's gonna save you from if you choose to be someone that you're not.
Exactly.
You know?
And at the end of the day, people really don't care. And
Yeah.
even if they do care, who cares?
Yeah.
And I find that's the thing about them caring, is like a lot of it is the collective view of like, oh, you shouldn't be like that, or like, because when you think about the young guys right now that are doing all the trouble and stuff like that, the older people are like, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, but it's like, it's on all of us collectively as a community to heal and show. But like, if you think about like me, like say like my aunts and uncles, if they're arguing and they're bickering and they don't get along, then you think about the young cousins that aren't getting along, they're shooting each other or doing whatever. It's like, they learned it from y'all.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's no sitting down, healing. There's no, you know what I mean? So
and having conversations, like
True.
literally doing that. That's so important because, you know, we are sort of what we see, right?
Yep.
And if we don't see certain ways in which we should be acting, then that's why we have people acting in ways that they shouldn't be.
Yep, 100%.
And then also allowing, it's so important for to allow people to be themselves, because I think in allowing people to be themselves, we would just live in a better world.
100%. And I feel like as long as being ourselves is not harming anyone else,
Exactly.
it's perfectly fine, safe to be who you are. And I feel like when you touched on like nobody cares, like nobody really cares. As long as you're not harming anyone else, nobody really cares that much. It's just, you got to find the belief in yourself to come out, be who you are, be who you want to be. And that's what gives you the strength, you know, gives you the strength to get to the next level. It gives you the strength to explore who you may be and continue to go forward.
But also its impact.
Oh,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
Also its impact on other people as well, because I feel like if you come true to being yourself and representing who you actually are and your values, then it inspires someone else that may be having that struggle as well to get to that point where you're at. So like it has its pros for you in coming together with being your full true self, but you might not even know that you're inspiring someone else that's in the same situation.
And I was going to say something similar to that, because a lot of the reason why I was able to step into my truth is from seeing other people literally stand in the truth of who they were. And it's just like, I aspire to be that. And I know I'll be that one day. It's a journey. And just understanding that life is a journey and I'll get to that place. But that those were times of inspiration for me, just seeing people stand in their truth and just be themselves unapologetically. So even if I see somebody that's maybe different out of the norm, sometimes I have to tell myself,
that's them.
kudos to them. Like, kudos to them.
Yes.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
And I find we got to be grateful for those people, because that's what gives us the permission to like be into our true selves and like and go on that journey. That's why when it goes back to like Black representation, it's like for me, it's like I didn't know any Black people that went to university.
Yeah.
You might not have known
I was
any.
the first one in my family.
Yeah,
like
so-
my mom and my dad have 11 brothers and sisters, and literally the first one.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so part of that journey is like you might not know any Black people that may be gay in the community, straight out, like don't care what you think. And I feel like being that or seeing that or being able to explore that allows us to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Propel so people can be their true self, like when it comes to like either university or the identity of like who you are, all those types of things. I feel like it's important for us to be ourselves.
It
like
is.
and it's important to stress that.
Because in those areas, there's like stereotypes that we see, even like from TV and music. Like there's just stereotypes of what gay people should be and Black people should be, and it's just like we're just not one dimensional. Like there's such a like range, and so it's important for us to see the range.
It's important for us to see the range, because then it allows exposure to people to be like, you know, those white people that don't have any Black friends, you know, those Black people that don't have any gay friends. So like they don't have any perspective or any real perception of what it is to be Black or what it is to be gay or to have a gay friend or even understand their experiences.
Exactly.
It's just like someone could be like, oh, I'm not a homophobe because I got a gay friend. It's the same as, oh, I'm not racist because I got a Black friend.
Right, yeah.
Like it's deeper than having a friend, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
100%. It's about wanting to understand people's experiences and accepting them for who they are. So
100%.
Definitely. But yeah, so we're coming close to when I have to go run. But we want to maybe close it off. I want you, you know marketing. So marketing's a big thing, obviously, in the industry. So I want you to take this opportunity to just speak to yourself and maybe some of your albums and releases, the Juno Awards, anything that's coming up? Or
Gosh, I've released 4 albums to date. 3 of them independent releases. That's something I'm very proud of. Because it's not easy putting together an album and releasing music. My latest album called The Melody Within, it was released October the 27th. All my music you can find on all streaming platforms except my second album, The Rebirth of. I'm on socials, Gary Beals Music, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yes. I don't know if you see this shirt, but I did a collaboration with R&B Kitchen.
Okay.
Last summer. So this year we're working on a new one. So this one has like artists from abroad. But this year we're going to try to put local artists on here.
All right.
So my request is like maybe you and a few other people that I have
like
in mind.
that.
You know, so and I got one of these for you as a gift.
Oh, thank you.
From
this is my shirt. It says nothing's gonna change. Wait, what does it say? Nothing's gonna change. Let me do this again. My shirt. This is my shirt. It says nothing's gonna change if nothing never changes. This is from my song Self Revolution because it's very true. Nothing's gonna change if nothing never changes. So it's important for us to be the change that we want to see in this beautiful world that we live in.
I love it.
And any advice
awesome.
to some aspiring artists before we
just be yourself. Be yourself. Whatever it is that you want to do, go do it despite what people may say. Fine, go deeper. If you need to go deeper, it's okay. If you need to cry, like I did on this show, cry, whatever you need to do. Find the support system. Find the people that believe in you and who you believe in. I think community is very important because I grew up where it was like community raised the child. So I'm very grateful for that as well. Grateful for the support as always. Grateful for the community of Nova Scotia and the Preston area.
So before we get into the one-word checkout, I just want to ask you, is there any questions or anything that we didn't touch on that you might want to touch on before we?
No, not really. I mean,
amazing.
No, we would be here forever because I just love chatting with you guys. As I said from the beginning, I hate doing interviews. When the camera's on, I'm just like, but beautiful souls. Like I just love it. I was inspired just listening to you guys talk. Oh my goodness, just so beautiful. And the way you guys articulate even what I was saying and how you articulated it. I'm just like, oh, can I put you guys in my back pocket? But kudos to you guys.
Yeah,
so I very much appreciate
it.
Vulnerable.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes.
So I'll let Aaliyah talk about the one-word checkout.
Okay.
So first off, grateful to have you as well. I know you mentioned grateful for community and that, but we're grateful to have you on this. So our one-word checkout is basically one word that maybe this podcast has made you feel. Maybe it's throughout the week, just one word describing how you're feeling.
Liberating.
And why is that?
Liberating.
You like
liberating.
And why liberating?
Because I just feel so at home. I feel so at home, and like there's nothing off topic. It just felt like we can talk about anything, and even if you may have a different belief or a different whatever opinion on it, it's just like it's okay for us to have these conversations. And
100%.
Yeah, mine word would be home. I feel like, you're coming home. We're home. This is a homely space. I feel like home, it's just the feeling that I'm getting. Just, you know what I mean? You could be free, you could be open. And that's how I feel, like home.
I have a million words after this. This is amazing. I'm definitely at peace, but I feel like my word is grateful. I feel like the biggest thing I've taken away from you is the appreciation and being grateful for the support that's around you. And then also being grateful for who you are as yourself and your true self. And so that's
to just go back in, because you said your father was one of the people that believed in you. Maybe if there's any other people that you want to shout out on the show.
Yeah, I mean, my father, my mother, my friends. I mean, and there's so many, so I don't want to name people because you know how down home people are.
Award. Who is it? Everybody. Everybody.
Yeah, like when I did my first album, I listed a bunch of people on the liner notes, and people were upset. And from that point on, I was just like, I am not listing no more names. People know who they are, who've been supportive to me. I don't need to say it, but I mean, sometimes you need to say it, but
mom and dad for sure.
Yeah, mom and dad for sure. So kudos
to
them.
All of our moms and dads.
Yeah, some of my aunts and uncles, cousins, like I mean, there's just so many.
So many to name, and you'll always forget someone.
Yeah.
And then they feel some type of way.
Yeah, they will.
Especially from the Black community.
I was about to say,
they won't
list
even
off a
speak to
few.
you no more.
Yeah, they won't. I was about to list off some friends, and I said I can't
Like,
because you know what?
You're like, why you ain't speaking to me? Oh yeah, remember you on that
I saw
Future
you on
Friday
that
podcast
podcast.
and you didn't say my name.
Exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, you said this one, you said that one.
You remember me
Yeah.
now,
It's
but you
like,
couldn't remember me on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not gonna say no names.
Yeah.
For real. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
Thank you, Gary, so much for
thank
coming
you
on the
guys.
platform. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure having you. So that was an amazing episode, and you guys already know what to do because we've been saying it every single episode. Make sure you go like, comment, share, and follow our pages on Instagram, YouTube,
And your favorite podcast platforms.
So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to our Future Friday podcast. And just wanted to make sure that you guys are connected on all platforms. So wherever you're tuning in, maybe even leave us a 5-star review.
If you're watching on YouTube, hit like and subscribe.
And on our social medias as well, you can follow us at ANS Lab or at African Nova Scotian Youth Lab as well on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We got the whole mumble jumble. It'll be in our link tree in our bio.
Don't forget to enter our contest that we have in each episode.
And the way to enter that contest will be sprinkled throughout our episodes, so make sure that you're listening and paying attention.
Each episode may be different, but comment below wherever you are.
And if you don't use social media and you're one of those people, you can even reach out to us by email at anslab@onenorthend.com.
The details are in the episode description.
And last but not least, we want to make sure that we get you guys connected to our resource, our network of resources, the Grapevine newsletters. So to get subscribed, you can check the link in our bio and subscribe yourself. But if you're not that tech savvy, you can also email us at anslab@onenorthend.com and we can get you hooked up.
We'll see you on the next episode.
See you next month.
Let's get it.
Future Friday.
What's your favorite thing about Fridays?
That's a good question.
The features.